I started painting about 10 years ago. It was actually 10 years ago in April that I started painting, and the paintings in this room here represent probably the oldest series, the very first series that I started on. It was called Concretions. These paintings are all done on styrene. There's some paintings in this series that were done on Yupo. At the time that they were painted, I was kind of grappling with the idea of what abstraction is. I didn't fully understand what it was, the fact that there is no person, place, or thing in it. So I was doing a lot of reading. The thing that really fascinated me, and I think the thing that really led me into abstraction, was the way that the paint responds to the surface that you're applying it to. I come from a science background with a lot of chemistry. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I kind of have the need to understand things, more in that scientific way, and that's what kind of led me in this direction. I was doing a lot of reading, and I stumbled upon a discussion of Jean Arc, who was a French painter. Actually, I think he was more of a sculptor, if I'm not mistaken. But in the 1930s, he was doing a series of paintings on limestone. And the discussion in that book really read like a study of applied substance and surface, and that really struck a chord with what I was doing at the time. And a lot of the paintings in this room take advantage of a lot of the properties of nature and drying. They're painted in almost sub-zero temperatures. And when you're painting it at a very low temperature, the viscosity of the fluid is quite high. So things, when they bleed, they layer more than they mix. So the drying becomes almost like not as much like a drying, they're almost like freeze-dried. So it becomes almost like a ripening process as things contract and expand, eventually dry. And this series went on for I painted these for about probably a year and a half, and then moved on to something else. It's kind of interesting how we sometimes get distracted as artists and get attracted to different things, move in different directions, and that's kind of what happened. The name techno comes from the music that was really an instrumental part of the painting process. I kind of liken the painting process to what a DJ does when he's spinning tunes on a turntable. Because the paintings are done very flat. They're painted on a flat surface, and they're very action-oriented, very spontaneous, and very energetic. Now, the interesting thing about these paintings was I was kind of grappling with the idea of how do you do an abstract painting that's inspired by a person. And obviously you can't put an image of the person in there because it's not abstract then, it's more representational. But I came up with the idea of maybe just incorporating colors that you'd associate with a person, textures, moods into the painting. And as a result, I started doing these paintings these paintings, when they were done, they're probably the most recent paintings in the whole show. And they're painted with successive layers. Like, for instance, the one against the far wall there has got probably about 8 or 9 layers on it. And the paintings are kind of like the layers in humanity. You know, every generation, every layer of paint is like a generation being laid down. It colors what's already in existence, yet at the same time not entirely obscuring what's already there. So the fabric of existence, in effect, it's kind of like a collective karma that creates the fabric of all existence.